Hello ladies and gentlemen and all the core gamers out there, CAJman777 here, welcoming you to part 4 of Metroid Prime 3 Corruption today. Last time, we've managed to successfully repel the assault on Norian by the space pirates by destroying what we now know is a Leviathan seed that was prepped to impact the planet. Unfortunately though, for our heroine and a bunch of other bounty hunters, we then encountered Dark Samus, who then proceeded to knock all of us the heck out for a very extended period of time. And 1 month later, Samus ended up waking up, finding that our bodies are now infected with Phazon and self-generating it, which has now given us access to this awesome new mode we like to call Hypermode. Unfortunately though, with us waking up a month later, the other bounty hunters were already sent on a mission, and it is now our job to not only track down the other hunters, but stop the Leviathan seeds that have impacted other planets that the space pirates we have learned also attacked when they initially attacked Norian. But before we get into that, I would like to take this opportunity to thank our donators over there on Patreon: Valentine Blaze, MickeyPhorGens, MaddiLeigh, Thomas, Eraisuithon Sotiri, and Liotos the Lotus, for their continued support to the channel. So here we are, on Bryyo, our first planet, and it's just time to get underway. Right now, we've got a couple things to do. So, I mean, we can get a couple scans in here if you guys want. This is just a cache plant. You know how we have all of these in all of our Metroid Prime games. But these creatures, which I can not scan fast enough because they're so damn fast, they are pretty much like Shriek Bats, but they're not actually Shriek Bats. They're like the Sand Bats that we saw of the other areas. But you may notice that this area seems very kind of foresty with planets chained together. This planet Bryyo has something to do with these Mojinar class war golems. It's kind of like a tribute to them, which is very cool. It kind of makes the first area feel very Chozo Ruinsy. But if we walk into here, Bryyo native encased in solid ice. Scans indicate that bioform inside is still alive. Unfortunately, I cannot do anything about that ice at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. But we know that Rundas was dispatched to Bryyo as of the last episode as well. So, as you can tell, he kind of came through here. And it's our job to kind of track down where Rundas has fallen. But right here, though, we are going to get an encounter with the new enemy. These are Gragnals. Lack of exoskeleton makes it agile but weak to most weapons. Gragnals are vulnerable to most weapons if they have not developed the durable exoskeleton found in the adult members of the species. They often travel and attack in groups. If they sense a nearby threat to their hives, they will not hesitate to advance. There's a real easy way to kill these things. You can technically just shoot them a couple times, but you can see how much damage they do. Keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, this is on hyper mode, and you did see that there was another creature over here, and we'll end up scanning him. Or scanning them momentarily, even though I already know what they're called. You guys don't know what they're called yet, but we do need to do one thing and pull this out so we can actually have a way back to where we need to go. So right now, our objective, honestly, is just to explore Bryyo, and obviously, as we enter this first beautiful room, welcome to Bryyo. Very cool, right? We noticed that there are 2 locks on that door, and that door is telling us exactly where we need to go. But in order for us to get over there, we got to take a couple hops over here first, and gotta make some movement happen. We can technically jump on this bridge, but that bridge will indeed collapse when we get to it. There are a few things that we do need to get grabbing over here, though, in Bryyo as well. We do need to go that way. We can go this way if we so choose, but we are actually going to hold off going that way at the moment, because right now we want this door to open up, and so I don't fall to my death. That would be much appreciated. We're gonna just hop down here, get our first little morph ball slot activated. Small little puzzle here in the first room, nothing too major. As that is not, I thought that was molten gold at first that was running through when I played this game when I was younger. I am wrong. That is fuel gel. There is a lot of fuel gel in this game. And it's molten. It's molten fuel gel, pretty much. And obviously, fuel gel is a great source of energy for the Federation troopers. But right here, I gotta scan the... Oh, can I scan these? They're not gonna let me scan them. Well, essentially these things just create a giant ball of energy in the middle. They are super fast and really tough to scan. There they go. Phazon Night Barbs. Essentially, all they do, they encircle you, and then you just lock onto them. You can't really shoot them until they really, they're completely immune until they do this. And you just shoot the green energy that they create in the middle, and they're done. They're gone just like that. As we do need to walk on this bridge again. It won't collapse till the second time we run across it, because we do need to grapple this platform down. And then, of course, with the force of that, the bridge is going to collapse. But we did give us our second path already that we need to go through. So, as I stated, Metroid Prime 3, it kind of gets you right into the action of this game very quickly. So, there's really not a lot of lore for us to go over at the moment. Right now, we just need to get through this first room, which we are now through. As we get some more molten fuel gel to unlock the final door for us. It's also going to open up a path to 2 more enemies. These things they're puffers, essentially, of this game. They are the puffers of Metroid Prime 3. They still create the toxic gas if you so choose to annoy them. And I will scan them right now so you can actually see that. I don't know why my camera was pointed backwards, but it indeed was. But if we see these are indeed gel puffers. You can shoot them a couple times and they explode into that toxic mist gas that I was talking about. Don't want to mess with them. Oh, God! Nearly. Oh, God. Yeah, that's their attack. That attack does a lot of damage on these little Phazon Night Barbs. Very easy to deal with, though, because they like to do this over and over. So it makes it pretty quick to eliminate the threat. Now, the reason I wasn't going into that other door that we could have gone into right away is because we actually need to go this way before we can go back to that main door in the main room of Bryyo. So in order for us to do that, we do need to grapple this a couple times. It is going to slow it down a little. It's going to slow us down a little bit. But that's no big deal. We can just pull that out really quickly. Hop on up. And I'm actually going to go to the left here first. Because there is a missile expansion I would like to get. As you can see, there are Shriek Bats, everyone's favorite enemy from all the other Prime games, you know. They just sit on the ceiling. Those are Bryoian Shriek Bats. They have the same function as any other Shriek Bats in the game. So we're going to fire a missile at this door. Gonna realize we got another new enemy here. These are Shell Bugs. Very easy. They just attack with Phazon spines. They're very easy to deal with. Not very difficult to kill. And up here is a fuel gel container, so you're going to want to shoot this. It's going to open a platform. I'm going to take a little bit of damage from the falling debris there, which kind of sucks. But I'm going to jump up here really quick. Because if I go around this way... I missed that. There we go. If I go around here, there's a free missile expansion that we can get right now. That I nearly... Ow! That I nearly fell... and failed to grab. So, luckily, we have that missile expansion that's going to bring our missile count, I believe, to 15 or 20. I think it's 15, yeah? 15. So, yeah, we got 15 missiles now to work with. Now, this bush right here. Phazon vines are impervious to attack, but grows vulnerable to Phazon-based weaponry. This is our first example of how we use Hypermode in this game. So, you're going to activate Hypermode, you're going to activate a little bit of a Phazon tank, and then you're going to want to shoot all these targets and immediately disengage your Hypermode. The reason you're going to want to disengage your Hypermode is so you save on energy, but now we're going to be met by hoppers, hopper enemies. Attacks with razor-sharp talons, pounces from a distance. These aggressive insectoids use small hops to get within striking distance, then pounce, using their talons to tear away at their prey. From a distance, they will fire bursts of venom at their target despite their aggressive nature. They are somewhat fragile and can be easily dispatched. Because of that, they fight in packs. One charge beam shot, and actually 2 charge beam shots and a couple other shots does the trick to these enemies very quickly. They're not difficult to deal with. Now, if we open this door, I'm not going to go in that room yet, because you can see there are some grapple points that I did say in the last episode, or actually episode 2, believe it or not, we can't actually access those yet. And the reason is because we don't have the grapple swing, we only have the grapple lasso, because for some reason, the developer, Retro Studios, decided, let's give the grapple beam 4 upgrades this time. Which I'm not against, because personally I think the grapple beam is a very cool ability. And it's going to get some really cool functions later down the line in this Let's Play as well. So we're just going to hop on through and actually go to the other side where we need to go. And we're going to be met by a couple more hoppers. Just quickly dispatch them. One fully charged shot will quickly dispatch. Actually, it does not dispatch. I always thought it did, but this is Hypermode. They have 3 times as much health. Now, everyone needs to remember this. Bioform encased in solid ice, blocking the entry to the tunnel. High temp shots may shatter it. Everyone remember this, because there's an item behind this that we'll have to come and get later. Unfortunately, we do not have the beam to currently access that, as we are going to get a beam upgrade and a free energy tank here. So we are going to tear this off, because right here is a piece of Bryoian lore. Bryoian data translated. Entry, Golden Age. Data moved to logbook for further review. Look now to the past and to see the time of peace on Bryyo. See the age of gold, when our world was a paradise unrivaled. Hear the songs of joy fill the streets of the royal city as the people honor the coming of the Bryos, the first, the liberator. Behold the launch of our first ship to the stars on that day, and witness the rise of science, of a new Bryyo. See this, and see the beginning of our downfall. So, that's a really cool just first piece of lore that we're going to get from the Bryoians. It's telling you to look into the past, because in the past, their civilization used to be so grand, and now, obviously, as we read more lore, you'll see why the Bryoian civilization has fallen from grace here. So, I believe we need to continue actually going this way. We're going to want to go into that other door. I did want to pick up that energy tank pretty early, because we'll need it for later down the line, trust me. So let's head back over here to this door that I wanted to skip just for a little bit. We were going to come back here anyway, but I wanted to get up here first. This is the door I remember it is. This will take me to the thing I can't use yet. So yeah, that's what I was thinking it was going to happen there. So we do need to go back into that grapple room that we were just at, where we saw our first use of the Phazon tanks. But we're also going to get some new enemies coming up here. And I should have remembered the route. I'm pretty good at remembering the routing for this game. But it's been a while since I played. It's been about a full year, and I didn't rewatch my Let's Play before I decided to record the series. So I'm just like, yeah, you know what? That's fine. I'll just hop into it pretty much blind. But I know where everything is pretty much for the upgrades. It's a matter of when the heck am I going to get there. That remains to be seen here. Hoppers aren't going to reappear. That's fine by me. But the reason I want to go pick up this energy tank is because the moment I drop down here, you're going to see that there's another war golem just on the ground here, but these guys. These guys are fun. So if we scan these things, these are Reptilicus Hunters. Target can generate a personal cloaking field around its body. Phazon Corruption has granted Reptilicus Hunters the ability of cloaking themselves. They use this to their advantage and will move or hide positions while cloaked to gain the upper hand in combat. Reptilicus Hunters are fairly organized despite their primitive nature. Usually attacking in small groups, they patiently wait for their prey to become isolated in a locked area before attacking. Their weaponry consists of an energy whip for close-range assaults and a throwing chakram for long-range attacks. They have adapted to the harsh climates of Bryyo and are quite resistant to fuel gel and heat-based attacks. However, we're going to actually just engage in hyper mode here and completely obliterate these guys very, very quickly. I am actually going to charge up a Phazon charge beam here and hopefully going to be able to deal with these Reptilicus Hunters relatively quickly before they cause any harm to me again. These things are actually pretty powerful, especially on hyper mode. They have a lot of HP. And as you can see, I nearly used one full Phazon tank to drop one. But luckily, they're not bad. Their attacks are pretty easy to avoid. And obviously being one of the first major enemies that are going to be aggroed toward you on Bryyo, they wanted to make the fight relatively interesting. But as you can see, I used that full energy tank there. So I no longer have that energy tank for hyper mode. So that's why you're constantly going to be regaining health and ammo for this. As you can see, there's a ton of little grapple panels back there we can't use quite yet. And if I go down here, there's a platform. We are going to try and walk around here, but you're going to notice that there's a door to our right. But we do want to get up on this platform because you can see we are going to be using these very shortly. Now, down there, this is nothing down here. It's just a kind of a little crevice that kind of just sits here. But our main objective right now, kind of explore. We can't really do much in Bryyo right now, but here, right here, behind here is going to be another piece of lore. Because we're going to switch to the scan visor. You got to let it fully open up before you can scan the piece of lore. Bryoian data translated. Age of Science. The ships of Bryyo sped to the stars in all directions, bearing the banner of peace. Soon we found stellar brethren in the Chozo, the Luminoth, and the Yilla. Chozo and Luminoth. First off, the Chozo seem to be everywhere in the Metroid universe, but that makes sense because they are the foundation of the lore of this game. But they ran into Aether, which I think is really cool. Gives a kind of a nice connection to Metroid Prime 2. So the Bryoians at one point in time were friends with the Chozo, Luminoth, and the Yilla, which we never really meet. Starborn knowledge came to Bryyo, and we gladly sent our wisdom to our new friends in return. The hearts of Bryyo were filled with pride, and they honored the Lords of Science for all the wonders we provided. As the time of new Bryyo came to be, the old ways faded. The cries of joy from those who honored science covered the angry shouts of those who mourned the old ways, the primal traditions. So they definitely became, the Bryoians definitely became a more advanced society as we go. Now, over here, we're going to deal with a couple of these. I'm going to try and just shoot these things very quickly before they shoot me. That was pretty good shooting until that one moved. I'm a little upset there. But if we go back here, there is a morph ball bomb tunnel. We got a bomb. And right here, we're going to technically meet a new enemy if we... this is not the enemy I thought it was. Oh, yeah. No, yes, it is. If you let these things attach onto Samus's ball, they make you rise. And we actually are going to need these and try and avoid that because you can see there's a missile expansion up there that I would like to get. So we are going to use these little friends. And in order to get these little friends off, you kind of just drop a bomb. They all jump off, and there we go. We got another missile expansion. They're giving you a lot of missile expansions pretty much left and right here for this game. It's a good thing. Trust me, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to need a lot of these missile expansions as we play through this game. As we also make our way around, we're going to grapple this panel off. And we're going to see another statue that has fuel gel in it. Blow it up. Take a little bit of damage. But right in here is going to be the grapple swing, which will now allow us to, you guessed it, grapple across ledges. And you may be wondering why initially in episode 2, why the grapple lasso changed Samus's hand color. That was because it was to match the PED suit. It was kind of a little bit of foreshadowing to what you had to do there. But now that we have the grapple swing at our disposal, if we actually come over here and scan this, this is a core ball. Works with snatchers to feed vulnerable to concussive blast. So it's vulnerable to bomb if it gets you. And these are snatchers. Snatchers make you elevate and they try and lead you into the Korba, but you can control yourself when you are controlled by snatchers. So, if we use the grapple swing now, we can now swing across all these platforms. And of course, scanning this gives you a grapple point. It's a viable grapple attachment, but now we actually have to go back through this room. And pretty easy to do, as we just need to walk around here. Oh, also, I should mention where we need to go here, because... Where's the logbook? Current objectives. Activate the satellite uplink. Samus, the Leviathan seat is protected by an energy shield. I ended up getting this before I started the recording, because every time you actually start up Metroid Prime 3 Corruption, your Aurora Unit 242 comes back online and tells you where you need to go. Forgot to read this to you guys. So you will not be able to reach it with that barrier. You will not be able to break the energy shield with the barrier active. We need more data to determine how the shield can be disabled. You are near the wreckage of a downed Federation vessel. If you can use the satellite uplink on the ship, you may be able to access information concerning the seed. So we saw the Federation vessel already. I walked into the room for it. But I mean, obviously, this is Bryyo. It's a little bit of the start of Bryyo. Pretty easy just to kind of grapple across here. We do need to take care of these puffers, though. So I am going to blast these things very quickly. If my aim would be on point, that would be great. I love being able to grapple in midair in this game. It's actually kind of useful because there are times in this game where you can come off a grapple point and grapple Space Pirate shields off later. It's just really neat. There's only like I think 2 occasions you can do that, but it's so swaggy, and I'm hoping I'm able to do it as we gotta get the morph ball bomb jump working here. Well, it's not even a bomb jump at this point. It's just a flick. It's just a flick of the Wii remote. And let's see if we can get some more energy. No, not gonna be that lucky, unfortunately. Get a little bit there. It's not bad. Of course, though, if we hop down here now, you're gonna be met by another Reptilicus hunter. Luckily, they drop pretty quickly when you activate Hypermode. You'll notice when we do engage these enemies, I will be wrecking a lot of things in Hypermode very quickly. Hypermode is going to be the key to my survival in this game, and you'll find out why, and it's for a very, very good reason, though, at the same time. There should be another, yeah, I was going to say, there's going to be another Reptilicus Hunter. Sweet. That's going to use half an energy tank, and there's another Hunter. Of course there is. You know, I really don't like these things, because that's their warping capability right there. As you can see, he completely just vanished out of my field of view. I had no idea where he went. He just knocked me off the edge. Shame on you, sir. Shame on you. I really don't like the... I mean, they're not hard to kill, but I don't like them. So, there's a lot of enemies in this game I don't like. Alright, now that if we go this way, though. This is the downed Federation ship that was probably downed from another space pirate attack later down the line. So we actually need to go down in here very quickly. As you can see, the door is actually currently closed off. If I were to walk up to it, you can see that I can't shoot it to get it open. So we do need to go into this little tunnel. I actually need to go into this tunnel twice. And you'll see why I need to go into this tunnel twice a bit later. Because it's to get up here. And you can't with this in the way. And I'll explain why. Well, technically I won't explain why, but I'll show you why. But right in here we have another new enemy. This is an atomic corporeal energy that slows explosives. It just kind of approaches you when you have a charge shot, and kind of jumps towards you very quickly. They are pretty strong actually, especially on hyper mode. But right here we do need to blast these off with the charge beam, as we are already in the location we need to be. But now we need to grapple all of these to connect the power. And you need to actually do this quickly or the power will reset. So if your grapple beam kind of screws up when you're flicking the nunchuck back and forth, you don't get the power reset, which sucks. And right here, that is going to activate that satellite uplink we needed. So our objective for the first part of Bryyo, at least, is complete. As that satellite uplink is now retransmitting. And not only do we get the map of the area, but we get power. We get power to the ship. So now that we have also activated the satellite uplink, 2 more areas of Bryyo have jumped to us. We have the Thorn Jungle Air Dock and the Fiery Air Dock. We need to go to the Fiery Air Dock next. As Metroid Prime 3 is, the areas you travel to, they are a bit smaller. Some of them are interconnected, but with this new fast travel system from ship to ship, we do get access to go to these. I am probably actually going to go to the Thorn Jungle Air Dock first, just to pick up, I believe it's an extra energy tank that I kind of want for the Fiery Air Dock, and I'll explain why when we get to a certain point in the Fiery Air Dock. But, not only did that restore power, we're not going to go there.
Samus, the satellite data has revealed 2 distinct
There it is.
energy signatures. They must be supplying power to the Siege shield. If these targets are eliminated, the shield will be removed.
That way the Leviathan seed is no longer protected and we can go stop it.
We are uploading the location of each energy signature and nearby landing sites.
As I explained in an earlier episode, the Leviathan seeds turn the planets into Phazon. Essentially, that's what they do. They turn the planets into pure Phazon. That's what they did in Metroid Prime 1. The center of the planet, the impact crater, was completely Phazon and infected Metroid Prime. And then, of course, in Metroid Prime 2, it turned the planet Aether into a light and dark world. Had a little bit of a different effect because Aether had already gathered all of its energy. So when the Leviathan seed hit Aether, it changed the light energy into dark energy that way. And it also created the Ing in that way, with the dark world obviously being heavily influenced by Phazon. Which is really cool. So yes, that's why we're currently trying to stop the Leviathan seeds. It's to stop that. But now that we've also restored power to the ship, I'm actually going to go this way very quickly. And the reason I'm going this way is because this is now powered. And unfortunately, if I don't time it right, I'm not going to be able to do this. I have to wait for this to come down. Because without the ship having power, I was not able to do this. I can just do that, which is super useful. And this will allow us to get to the top of the ship and meet another new enemy, which is the Gragnall adults. These things are really cool. You can kind of just grapple them and tear their tails off and they instantly die. You can shoot them as well. I choose not to. And with that, we are going to get another missile expansion. So a lot of quick item pickups in this game. The beginning of the game kind of flies by really quick, so you guys are going to have to bear with me. But now that we're actually out of the main area of Bryyo, as you can see, there are a couple areas that we can't quite go to yet. But it's only 2 rooms. This one can't go to because we don't have the right upgrade. As you can see, it's white. What do you think that means? It's been in a previous Prime game. And then we have areas here. But what's really cool about this, the Falls of Fire, all the areas of Bryyo, once you can access the Falls of Fire fully, all the areas of Bryyo actually connect to each other. With the exception, I believe, being the Fiery Air Dock. The Fiery Air Dock does not connect, but Thorn Jungle and normal Bryyo connect to each other, and that's really cool. And of course, we're going to have some more Reptilicus Hunters going to come after us here. I'm going to actually attempt to ignore these things, as we do need to leave Bryyo, because I still got a little bit of time for this episode, it looks like. So how dare you spawn right there? I'm a little upset you did that. So, all we have to do now is kind of get out of Bryyo. But... Yep. Alpha Hoppers. I'm just going to blast these guys into oblivion with Phazon. Notice how much damage these things take from Phazon. If I fire a full charge beam at him, it just barely kills him. Luckily, I am gathering energy as I fight these things. Missiles are not bad against these guys, but they hit pretty hard. So, using your hyper mode here, not a bad option to kill all 4. Except there's 5. Not a bad option to kill all 4, except there's 5. And I totally forgot there was 5. So, let's just quickly eliminate these hoppers. And as they try and hop at me, I'm just going to blast as many missiles into these things as I can. These things are extremely resilient, the Alpha Hoppers. And they have a lot of health, surprisingly. That's why I said using hyper mode is a very good advantage into this game. As you can see, I obliterated that thing with probably 10 missiles and some charge beam shots. That thing did not go down. That's how tough the tougher enemies are in this mode. And we haven't even seen the toughest enemies in this game yet. There are still so many more enemies that are there that we have to deal with. So I'm actually going to gather some energy supplies here. And some missiles, because I need my missiles badly. And some energy units, because I need the hyper mode badly. Yeah, and what I find really cool about this game, the hyper mode difficulty, it forces you to use hyper mode, and a lot of hyper mode. So health management kind of becomes a very big important thing. So with that, we're actually just going to enter the ship here. And we're going to head to the Thorn Jungle Air Dock. Now that we have unlocked it. So now the game's really going to start. It's going to start slowing down and opening up a little bit for us. Which is really nice. Because I like when the game opens up a little bit. So let's head to the Thorn Jungle Air Dock very quickly. Now, what's really cool about this fast travel station. Not only can you fast travel to certain locations on the map. But you get a little transitional loading screen, but obviously this transitional loading screen is to allow the other map you are flying to load, as I said also in a previous episode. Which is really cool. Luckily, it does load pretty quick when you are on the same planet. It's when you planet jump that the loading takes a while. Because you have to go through this cutscene every time. Now, you can skip it when it reaches a certain point. Like, if I were to try and skip it right now. Actually, it won't let me skip it. Never mind, I lied. It doesn't let you skip it. I lied. It doesn't let you skip it. But we are going to start exploring the Thorn Jungle Air Dock here. Going to go into this first room here. Notice that there is a fuel gel location on the wall. But this space pirate, you may have just noticed, has entered hyper mode himself. Normal weapons deal less damage. Vulnerable to hyper mode attacks. This is why you need hyper mode for this game. The space pirates have hyper mode. Enemies have hyper mode as well, making this very difficult in the game. Enemies can enter Hypermode themselves. Luckily, the enemies aren't invulnerable to Hypermode like you are while you're in Hypermode. So we are going to be breaking these because we are going to get some ammo and health caches here. Hopefully a decent amount of health back. That's not a lot of health back. I'm a little disappointed, game. You could have given me a little more. But we're actually going to go this way because this is the only room I wanted to grab. To grab another free energy tank, and then we're going to leave. Then we're going to leave. So that's why I wanted to grab an energy tank. That way we have lots of energy. Now, I could disable this shield. I'm going to wait to disable this shield because we are going to have to come to the Thorn Jungle air dock after Fiery air dock anyway. So I'm just going to open that prior path up and wait to move on. So now we can finally head to the Fiery air dock, and I think we are going to have to call it an episode there. I know this episode definitely went by a bit fast. A lot of information kind of given to you very quickly. It's also kind of helpful that I don't really need to scan all the enemies at once now. I can just kind of scan them, go over their lore very quickly, rather than waiting for the scan thing in the middle of combat so I'm not taking damage. I can just whip out the scan visor, instantly lock onto the targets I've already scanned, and be like, alright, I've already scanned this. Here's what it does. It's really cool. And we're going to get another transitional loading pair, but you might notice the sky also changes in the background too, which is neat. But as we land here, I do want to point something out when we do land here. You may notice that there's a ship there with ice. So, I'm actually going to scan this ship. Well, let me. There it is. Hypermode class gunship. GF records identify the pilots as Rundas. The engines are still warm. So, what that just means is that Rundas is somewhere here. In Fiery Bryyo. In an area that has lots of heat. You would think a guy made of ice would not like a lot of the heat. But Rundas was dispatched by the Federation to learn about the pirates' whereabouts and see what he can do about the Leviathan seeds as well. So, in the next episode, we're hoping to actually find out where Rundas is and obviously explore the entirety of Fiery Air Dock pretty much, because that is actually what we're going to have to do in the next episode. But I am all out of time for this episode. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Metroid Prime 3 Corruption. I know the episodes are going to be a bit shorter, probably 30 to 40 minutes at max with these, and I do apologize for that, but this game is a bit longer, so I wanted to keep the episodes a bit shorter and not do big uploads, because it takes forever to upload the videos when I do like 50-minute episodes, so we're not going to do that anymore. But obviously, in the next episode, like I said, we are going to be exploring Fiery Air Dock, and I apologize if the episodes feel like they're going a little bit fast, but there's a lot to cover, especially in Metroid Prime 3 Corruption. There's a lot of lore and a lot of exploration just to kind of get done, but seeing I've played this game so many times, I also know where to go, which makes the episodes seem like they fly by. But once again, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode, and until then, this is CAJ Man 777 signing off. Stay safe, everybody.